I have an idea. We're talking about not showing up for work, right? Let's start with the unpaid government workers. They not getting paid no way. I don't work if I don't get paid. Now just think about that. Airport's gonna shut down. Ain't no TSA people. There ain't nobody in the air traffic control box. That's just one piece of it. They need to stop going to work. And guess what? They can say they're gonna replace them, like we'll hire more people. Who the fuck gonna take a job when they know they ain't getting no check and don't know when they gonna get it? Yeah, let's shut this government all the way down. Let's just slow down to a damn stop. And where are those Epstein files at? Because we know that's what it is. You got that woman waiting to be sworn in because she's the 218th vote. You ain't fooling nobody. You can buy yourself a little time, bitch. But I tell you what, this is going nowhere. This problem going to be addressed. Where are those Epstein files? Y'all real cute with this foolishness, and we see through you. You own the House, the executive branch, and the goddamn Supreme Court. This is not the Democrats' fault. They trying to help us keep our health care. And then they have nothing to do with immigrants getting health care, no matter how many times they say it. They just double down, la, 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 double down, la, 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 double down. That's all they do. That's their MO, projection, hypocrisy, deflection, and straight up lies. We see you. Unpaid government workers, stay your asses at home. Let's do this.
It is true that in previous shutdowns, many or most of them have been paid for the time that they were furloughed. But there is new legal analysis. I don't know the details. I just saw a headline this morning. I'm not read in on it, and I haven't spoken to the White House about it. But there are some legal analysts who are saying that that may not be appropriate or necessary in terms of the law requiring that back pay be provided. So I'm sure that'll be there will be a lot of discussion about that. But there are legal analysts who think that that is not something that government should do. That, if that is true, that should turn up the urgency and the necessity of the Democrats doing the right thing here. Even more pain, more than I just listed, for more people. So we got to figure it out. Back row.
Nothing to see here, just the new status quo for a Tuesday in America. Last night, Donald Trump signed 4 executive orders freezing federal grants and loans. A temporary funding freeze that could affect trillions of dollars. Now, if you were sitting there going like, well, what exactly does that mean? I'm confused. You are in the majority, including politicians who are like, what exactly do you mean? This is like the language in the orders are very vague. It sounds like you're just shutting everything down. As of February 1st, no more money to programs. And I think there's a bunch of his supporters going, good, tired of these libs throwing all our tax dollars at like DEI and trans this or that. He's finally stopping it. But before you celebrate too hard, allow me to expand upon what this means. Trump orders freeze on federal assistance programs like rental and food assistance. Programs such as Section 8 housing, free school lunches, food stamps, Medicaid, Head Start, early childhood education, and more. Meals on Wheels has already said, like, it's going to shut us down. Imagine the chaos if Section 8 payments just stop. Imagine the chaos and the effects, the massive effects, if anyone who's receiving food stamps or Medicaid is suddenly cut off. And before you start dancing a jig, saying, yeah, a bunch of freeloading brown folks, the group that receives the most of these services, far and away over any other, is white people. And I did that little accent I did earlier because I'm from the South, and a lot of Southern white people utilize one, if not several, of these services. And there's no shame in that. If you are struggling, if you're having a hard time, look at the cost of eggs. Look at the cost of things right now. It is not a shock that people need programs. And it's all about to go away. And by about to go away, I mean 5 o'clock today. Here's the thing. This isn't legal. They passed stuff a while back that said you can't just order this yourself. You have to go through Congress. Congress approved these programs. Congress approved these budgets. But in this guy's world, what does legal matter? He's proven that the law doesn't apply to him.
We have some major news right now. The White House no longer believes that furloughed federal government employees who were furloughed because of the government shutdown, well, they don't believe that they deserve back pay. This is a stunning departure from prior history. So according to Axios, there is an internal White House memo that essentially says that if you're a furloughed federal worker, meaning you haven't worked during the government shutdown, you haven't received pay, no fault of your own, you do not get back pay when you return to work. Now, this doesn't include federal workers who have been forced to work, like, for example, air traffic controllers. They've been working without pay. But it does include a whole host of federal workers who have literally been temporarily laid off because the government can't get its act together to keep it open. And in the past, all of those employees would receive back pay. Well, maybe not anymore. And if that's the case, if this is the position the White House takes, that would be a significant change in the way we do government shutdowns. I'll provide you more updates, obviously, as we get them, so spread the word. Follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. More to come very soon.
Viewer, this one is unbelievable. Federal workers across the country are saying the paychecks just vanished. Money gone, nothing deposited, and now the government is refusing to pay. Like, really? The outrage is spreading fast and people are demanding answers. Let's talk about what's really going on, who is being affected, and why this is sparking fear of another government crisis. Let's get into it.
Shut all the shit down. So what I admire about this regime is that, baby, y'all saying the quiet parts out loud. Because any of these federal employees that are being furloughed and you have now found out that you may not get back pay, baby, shut the shit down and go home. I fly every week. But baby, I'm willing to go all in and be inconvenienced and drive back and forth or whatever else I need to do. You mean to tell me that you're not going to pay these people while y'all sitting up there getting paid? Probably about, I would say my son was a baby. And I worked in K-12 public school. We were furloughed. They told us we were furloughed about 2 weeks out from our checks, that we would not get paid our regular salary that month. Now, mind you, I am a teacher. We didn't get paid that much. This was back in the early 2000s. We only get paid once a month. I have a child in daycare. At this point, I was a single mother. And you trying to tell me that you're going to take, I believe it was about $300 out of my monthly paycheck. The level of pissed I was. Because had they told me that before, baby, I wasn't going to show up. You're not about to play with people's paychecks. And this is yet another indicator that this is not the Democrats versus the Republicans. It is the haves and the have-nots. And I'm standing 10 toes down with the have-nots. So while we may be inconvenienced, y'all can shut this shit down. Go home. If they not paying you, go home. Because the shit don't make no sense. You got the money, but you going to teach us a lesson. Child, please. Shut it down.
We're now 7 days in to a government shutdown, and it looks like it's going
I'm an air traffic controller who's not getting paid right now during this government shutdown, and things could be getting a lot worse for us very soon. Because Donald Trump is threatening to not give guaranteed back pay to federal employees who were furloughed during the shutdown. Multiple news sources have reported on this. It's very likely to happen, and in fact, OMB has already deleted a reference to the law guaranteeing that back pay from their guidance for the shutdown. And just for a little bit of context, air traffic controllers are essential employees. We have to continue showing up during the shutdown even though we're not getting paid. With that said, we're not furloughed because we have to keep coming into work. But paid leave doesn't exist during a government shutdown. So if we put in annual leave, our version of PTO, or sick leave, which is normally paid, it can't be entered that way. It has to be converted to furlough, and previously the law stated that furlough would all get back paid guaranteed. Now, not guaranteeing that back pay creates a few issues. First of all, air traffic controllers, we request our time off a year in advance. Every year at the end of the year, right around this time or the next month or two, we request all of our leave that we're gonna get for the next year. So we have to plan a whole year in advance. So I have a guy at my facility right now who is on his leave for a week. He's got a vacation that he scheduled a year ago. And now Donald Trump is saying, we're not gonna pay you back, even though he had no clue a year ago that the government was gonna be shut down. And even if it did, he was guaranteed back pay. Now he's saying, we will not give you any money during this time, even though annual leave and paid time off is a benefit that we agreed to give you. We're not gonna pay it out. What's interesting about this order from President Trump is that it very likely violates GEFTA, which is the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act that was signed in 2019. Which is interesting because Donald Trump was president in 2019 and signed this into law. And it's also interesting that it was signed in 2019 because that happened after the December 2018 to January 2019 35-day government shutdown, the longest in our country's history, also caused by Donald Trump. So the shutdown that he caused in 2018 led to this law that he signed in 2019 that he is now ignoring in 2025.
It's day 3 of the government shutdown. My husband is a federal employee and an essential one, so he is going to work like usual, but he will not be getting paid for the foreseeable future while this is happening. Government shutdowns are not a new thing in the US, not a new thing to us either, but there is usually like a clause or some sort of like budget thing where they do still pay essential employees that have to continue to go to work during these shutdowns. Like TSA, the United States military, they would still be getting paid. That is not the case this time. So these employees, my husband included, still have to go to work and will not be getting paid. And it looks like this one might last a while. So I guess that is why we've been saving money while there is an emergency fund. You know, you never think, oh yeah, like I'm saving my emergency fund just in case the government shuts down, and they just tell my husband he still has to go to work, but they're not gonna pay him for that work. And I guess it's kind of nice that I make some money from TikTok as well, which would not subsidize his income by any means. As you guys know, I share his income on here, but it's better than having no money coming in, right? So I might not be doing his paycheck breakdowns anytime soon.
So here is what happened. Thousands of federal workers woke up expecting their usual pay, but when they checked their accounts, nothing, just nothing. No deposit, no explanation. Some agencies said it was a technical issue, others went silent. But the crazy part, the government hasn't given a clear answer, and workers are furious. The workers are very, very furious. On social media, federal employees are venting, sharing screenshots, crying out for help, saying they have got bills, rent, and kids to feed. Many of them are living paycheck to paycheck. We all know this. And to suddenly have no income, no warning, no timeline, it's chaos. One worker even said, we served through shutdowns, through COVID, and this is how they repay us. Now officials are downplaying the situation, saying it's under investigation and could be a payroll system glitch. But here is the thing, this is not the first time something like this happened. Yeah, this is not the first time. Every time there is a delay, it's always the workers who suffer, not the politicians. And the lack of transparency is making people believe this is more than just a mistake. Twitter and TikTok are on fire. I'm telling you, on Twitter and TikTok, they're on fire. People are tagging the White House, demanding accountability. Hashtags like pay them now and federal workers are trending. It's not just the workers. The public is furious too, saying the government always finds money for everything else but can't pay its own employees on time. This is so sad. Yeah, that frustration is real. This goes deeper than one missed paycheck. It's about trust. How can you tell citizens to work, to serve, to sacrifice for their country when the system fails them at the most basic level? People are asking if federal workers aren't safe. Who is? Huh? Tell me in the comment. This situation exposes how fragile things really are behind the scenes. And honestly, this is scary. This is scary. When regular people lose pay, bills pile up fast. And hearing the government say we don't know when you will get your money is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. These are the same workers who keep the country running. They deserve better. Yeah, these people deserve better. This is not just a glitch, it's a wake-up call. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this. What do you think? Is this just a system error or something bigger the government isn't telling us? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear from you. Yeah, let the conversation begins in the comment. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people know what's going on. Because silence is how they get away with it, and we are not staying silent. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.